workers, training them on new technologies and products regularly. Now, while our focus is waterproofing, and before that, these are the areas where waterproofing is required. So you have waterproofing coating in non-reachable areas, sloped and metal roofs, heat reflective coatings, waterproofing for tanks, decks, terrace gardens, flat and low pitched roofs, and elastic coatings, masonry wall coatings, wall repellents, which are also called building enveloping. You have waterproofings for balcony areas, swimming pools, below grade, which is your basement waterproofing, submerged waterproofing, concrete coatings, and doors and window joint ceilings, which are essentially sealants and adhesives. So there are various areas for waterproofing. Now, our expertise is mainly into concrete enhancement, concrete repairs, concrete protection. These are the main areas. Now, this is something a very dear friend had recently mentioned to me while we were doing another seminar for Waterproofers Association of India. So he said that, how do we know, Sandeep, that it's raining outside? If it's a house which has waterproofing issues, the water will be falling inside also. So if it's raining inside, it will be raining outside. So that's how we know that waterproofing has failed. So how do we know that damage has already been done? So if you have a brickbat cover roof, you'll find cracks on the roof, you'll find big wet patches on the walls, and you can find plants growing on the roof, on the terrace, on the walls. In many areas, you have people, you have various kind of plantations. You also, from inside, when you see, you can see the exposed steel, reinforced steel, which is already corroded, rusted. So these are the reasons, these are the waterproofing failures. So like I always say, when people ask me what's the cost of waterproofing, I always say, don't ask me the cost of waterproofing. Ask me cost of not waterproofing. So going back to one slide, these are the areas, like you can see, this is the cost of not waterproofing. Now, just imagine places like this, if someone has to do waterproofing, what will be the cost? Maybe initially he would have spent pittance to do the waterproofing. But now if he has to do the repair of everything, the cost will be huge. So I strongly believe that waterproofing is the designing of a system. It is not just that you put on paper and make a specification that for a particular type of structure, this waterproofing is required. You make a BOQ, do all the specification, and that's all. You have to select the right product, right technology, right specification. The application has to be right drainage system has to be laid, right protection has to be given, and right surface preparation has to be done. If your surface preparation is not good, any kind of waterproofing, whatever you do, it is going to fail. It is going to fail. So, but before doing all this, what we have to do is we have to do inspection. We have to analyze. We have to diagnose. Now, let's say when an architect gives a new site that this property has to be waterproof, how do you go ahead? How do you start it? See, first you have to inspect. You have to go through all the drawings and the plans. What kind of basement is there? What kind of footing is there? What is the retaining wall? Whether a brick wall is, it's a sandwich wall, or it's only a brick wall, it's only a concrete wall. Curtain wall has to be, brick curtain wall will be made inside the basement from negative side. All that has to be inspected, and an analysis has to be analyzed. It has to be analyzed that how and what has to be done. Then diagnosis. Now diagnosis normally is for when we are doing the rework, when we are doing the repair work. When problem has already, like there's already problem in the building, waterproofing has already failed, or someone has not done the waterproofing, or someone has purchased the old property and wants to get it inspected for waterproofing. So proper inspection analysis and diagnosis has to be done for the old property. Unless these 3 steps, or 2 steps for new building and 3 steps for the old buildings, they are not done properly, a good waterproofing system cannot be designed. It has to be designed properly. Like, don't we all say that building a house is probably the biggest investment in a lifetime? See, like, लोग कहा करते थे कि पहली बार घर बना रहे हैं, शायद एक ही बार जिंदगी में घर बनता है, जो करना है अच्छी तरह करेंगे. So they will beg, they will borrow, borrow from family, friends, they'll take loan, and they will try to get the best of the things possible. But while they'll do best for the entire house, unfortunately, waterproofing has never been an important factor there. And most of the properties, waterproofing is not even budgeted. It is taken as an expense. While I strongly believe that it is the biggest investment you can do in a house, in your property. So get it done right the first time. So if you do it right in the beginning itself, there won't be any seepage. There won't be any leakage in the basement. There won't be any leakage from your terrace or balcony or walls or window sills or anywhere else. So it will reduce your good planning and good design will reduce your initial costs. It will reduce your long-term maintenance of the building. Like the pictures I showed earlier, that the plants are growing on the terrace. If you have a terrace garden, it's good. If you don't have a terrace garden, it's plants like this, shrubs like this, they are growing. It is going to erode the entire your top layer. And we have seen that plants, the roots coming inside the houses also. So it will reduce your initial cost, reduce your long-term maintenance. It will reduce a lot of repairs, increase the durability of the house, and believe me, it will give you huge mental peace of living in a dry, zero seepage house. So waterproofing, primarily there are 2 types of waterproofing. One is remedial waterproofing for old structures and preventive waterproofing for new structures. So we'll be briefly talking about both of these. Now, why water enters structure? Why this happens? This happens because of your poor quality of concrete, primarily porosity of the concrete. And when you start a site, leave it for some time, like now, when most of the projects are closed, almost all the projects are closed, if someone starts constructing again, and if there is discontinuity and it has to be worked on again, proper care has to be taken to seal those points. There are products which can be applied so that there's no leakage and proper bonding is there. So a poor waterproofing can do damages like this. You have plants, you have brick bed cover, the cracks on the roof, on the 2 above pictures, images, it's brick bed cover has been done. And we have taken care of both these sites where we had to remove the top layer and do the waterproofing. So normally whenever we meet architects or whenever we meet clients, so normally what do they say? They talk about, Sandeep, do you have a waterproofing for terrace garden, for balconies, for bathrooms, for toilets, for wet areas, for sunken areas, for basements? So that's the first thing normally architects and the clients they ask. They'll ask from every waterproofer. Second would be what kind of material you are using. Are you using polyurethane? Are you using acrylic? You use epoxy? What do you? It's a polymer, or what you are using for that. Very few will talk about technology-based waterproofing. Someone may ask, are you using uniting? Do you use injection grout, polyurethane-based injection groutings? Or Do you use crystalline groutings or crystalline coatings for waterproofing? So very few people would ask for technology based. They are normally those architects or clients who have studied it properly, who have spoken to various professional waterproofers, practicing waterproofers. Only then they have read about it. So they are the people who are passionate about their house, the construction they are doing. They want to do the best thing for the first time. Then very few people also ask about things like negative and positive waterproofing. That which side will be waterproofing. So that I'm constructing a basement, I cannot waterproof from outside. Will you be able to do something good from a negative side, which is from the inside of the basement? And yes, there are also fifth type of people who will say, डॉक्टर सो एंड सो करवा दो. क्या आप डॉक्टर सो एंड सो करेंगे? क्या आप कोई इस तरह का प्रोडक्ट यूज करेंगे? कहां से लेके आएंगे? सो वो लोग सिर्फ ब्रांड की बात करते हैं. दे डोंट टॉक अबाउट the quality or the technology or the product. They'll talk about brands. So these are the areas for like building envelopes, stone masonry, basements, water tanks, STPs, swimming pools, terrace gardens. These are the various areas where waterproofings are generally done in a house. Lifts are very common now in independent houses. So these areas are being regularly waterproofed, and these have to be waterproofed. So while we were talking about 5 things, area, surface, material, 4 things about, and technology, and the brand I have not mentioned here because I don't believe in that. So primarily any waterproofing system has to be based on area, surface, material, and technology. So all these 3 things can go hand in hand. None of them can work on isolated basis. You can't say कि सिर्फ एरिया की वाटरप्रूफिंग कर दो, क्योंकि उस एरिया में वाटरप्रूफिंग करने के लिए मटेरियल भी चाहिए, और उस एरिया में वाटरप्रूफिंग करने के लिए टेक्नोलॉजी भी चाहिए, और सरफेस भी इंपॉर्टेंट है कि किस सरफेस पे कैसे वाटरप्रूफिंग करनी है. So I'll come to the 5 concepts of waterproofing, which is concrete, improvement of concrete. I would say base also, base and concreting improvement. Repairs of cracks and voids, joint treatments, waterproofing coatings, envelopes and protection. So we'll take up all these. So concrete and base improvement. Among 2 of my gurus, one Shri Samir Surlikar had told me long time back that unless a structure has a strong base, it will not be able to hold the building for a long time. A base of a building is as important as, rather more important than anything else in the building. A couple of years back, there was a case in Delhi, in East Delhi, where a house had, a 6-floor house had collapsed, and I think 17 people had died because the basement was weak, the structure was weak, it was just built for 2 floors, and the owner had constructed 7 floors, including basement, and there was no waterproofing done in the basement. Now the structure was weak, plus when the water seepages were there, because of that, the structure had collapsed. The concrete had got damaged and eroded, and the structure had collapsed. So see, we all know the concrete is the most popular construction medium we have right now. Gone are the days when brick, even for the basements, the brick was used. Only brick walls, retaining walls were used. I think very few places in India now bricks are still being used for the basement construction. It's now only concrete and maybe a curtain wall from inside, a brick curtain. But the same concrete which is liked by one and is popular, it is permeable. Permeable means that it can easily soak in water. Now the concrete has pores. So there are different type of pores and capillaries, and I won't go too much deep into it. So primarily capillaries and compaction voids are there, which can damage water your basement, your concrete, and water ingress can be there. So this is very common. You must have seen to construction sites, and where you can see honeycombing and like this. So steel is exposed and steel gets rusted. And but how do mostly people repair it? How do a civil contractor will repair it? He will take a regular mortar, add some kind of bonding agent in it, and make it a very low grade polymer modified mortar, and just plaster it. He will plaster it. Maybe it gets stuck also to the wall. लेकिन होगा क्या? किसी भी साइट के ऊपर रिपेयर करने के बाद उसकी तराई करने की, उसकी क्योरिंग करने का कोई भी सिस्टम नहीं है, रिवाज ही नहीं है करने का. रिपेयर कर दिया, उसके बाद पुटी खींचने के लिए आ गए, उस पर पुटी करी, उसके ऊपर पीओपी करा, पेंट किया, बात खत्म. पता तब चलता है जब कुछ साल के बाद, कुछ दिनों के बाद उसमें से वहां से डीबॉन्डिंग होनी शुरू होती है, because of honeycombing and poor quality of mortar laid on that. So now to improve concrete, there are many types of integral waterproofing systems which are used. So अगर आप किसी साइट पे जाते हैं और पूछते हैं कि भी क्या डाला है कंक्रीट में, तो हर कोई कहता है कंक्रीट में एडमिक्सचर डाला है या कंक्रीट वाटरप्रूफिंग कंपाउंड डाला है. That is the only reply we get. No one knows what type of waterproofing compound they have added, and they will call it waterproofing compound. It is primarily used to make a proper design mix where the water cement ratio has to be maintained. So while there are different type of compounds used for concrete improvement, I would say the best is a crystalline admixture, which is especially a crystalline hydrophobic mixture. No, I won't be throughout this because this is more generic. I won't be taking name of any of the products or companies, but for this, I would take one name. That's SS Buildchem. It's a Goa-based company, and the product for especially a crystalline hydrophobic product admixture is amazing. I have been using this on all my sites for last almost 3 to 4 years now. So whenever we get a waterproofing work of any site, we use this. This is the Ramban. We use it 100% in concreting. So we start at the concrete stage and we use this particular product. So this is sustained crystallization and hydrophobic pore blocking technology for production of high performance waterproofing concrete. So how does it work? It works by reducing your capillaries, capillary blocking, making the capillaries hydrophobic. So when you use a crystalline admixture as concrete admixture, a part of it reacts to reduce capillaries by compaction, water reduction, or air entrainment. It also helps in reducing water and allows some air entrainment in the concrete. This makes concrete more compact and denser. The second part is achieving capillary blocking so that all the pore gets blocked and due to crystallization. And primary and secondary hydration and crystallization blocks that pores due to reaction with free lime in concrete. But last not the least, crystallization makes capillaries hydrophobic to reduce water transmission. What's the benefit of using how do we use it and why? See, it's a single component thing. it's normally 0.8 to 1.2% of weight of your cement weight, and it's easy to mix, not difficult at all at site. Even if you are using RMC, you can either ask the RMC company to add this. It will be on a very small additional cost, or even it can be done at the site. So there's no rocket science behind it. Someone has to just take care of weighing it properly. Now, crystalline action to densify and waterproofing concrete. So it makes concrete, plaster and mortar hydrophobic. It improves the workability and compaction, and it does not affect compressive strength of the concrete. So, and it is chloride free, so won't promote any kind of corrosion. So your steel also will remain will remain safe. So while we are talking about improvement of concrete, one of beautiful products for concrete improvement is polymers. So basically acrylic and SVR polymers. So as I have been trained and a lot of other professional practicing waterproofers have been trained, the polymers in construction industry, in construction and chemicals, they are basically bonding agents, and they used for workability and better water reduction to give strength and durability. And they have high flexural strength, better bond and tensile strength, and impermeable, and they are anti-corrosive. A lot of these polymers are used by waterproofers just to add with cement and water and apply as coating, and they call it cementitious waterproofing coatings. So these are not actually not, I won't say these are 100% waterproof products. These are good for repairs. These are good for bonding agent. SBR is an amazing product as a bonding agent and repairs. Yes, very low grade waterproofing has to be done. You can still use it. It's not that you can't use it, but it will be only for very low grade waterproofing. This is not a waterproofing system. So this can be applied in wet areas, basement, bathrooms, swimming pools, water tanks, anywhere a high resistance of water ingress is required in concrete, anywhere better bond flexure resistance to cracking is required. So I would be, if I have to use, I'd be using it for better bond flexural resistance to cracking. I'll be using it for this area. So second part of, so with this we end the concrete improvement and base improvement, and we come to cracks and voids. Now cracks and voids are, so once you construct a new basement, so or a new terrace, a new just concrete has been laid, you'll find that there are cracks, there are voids, there are capillaries, there is honeycombing in concrete. Now, so things like these two images, you can so many basements. Maybe the voids are slightly smaller or bigger. I've seen bigger than this. I have seen wider cracks than this. And no, the next stage after improvement of your concrete is taking care of these cracks and voids, repairing them. So primarily this is a repair job. This could have been avoided if a good admixture would have been used in the beginning. So you wouldn't have got cracks and voids. But now when the cracks and voids have come, so it's better to take care of them at this stage only. So water plugs are used when there is active water coming into the basement from cracks or voids. So nothing can stop that water immediately except a good crystalline water plug. Water plugs almost instantaneously stop the water seepage, flowing water. This is a very popular product for basement repairs, the crack repairs, especially in new buildings when the structure is still being made. There are a lot of cold joints in, you can see in the image also on the right top that the plate joints are there. There's one across joint, which must have been due to the concrete being laid and poured in seconds as a second stage. And you'll find that there are cracks, that cold joints are there. Now these cold joints have to be repaired properly before doing anything else. So even if you have to do some kind of injection grouting in that wall, these cracks have to be repaired first. If any coating has to be done, even then these have to be repaired first. Now, how do you repair them? You have to first open them up, clean them properly, clean them with water, and use a good ready mix mortar. I'll never recommend a mortar made at site, which is commonly called polymer modified mortar. If someone wants to use it, fine, but it's always better to use a factory made premix mortar, because the premix repair mortar will have all kind of polymers in it. It will have different type of cements in it. It will have glass fiber or synthetic fibers in it to give it more strength. Now, while we are talking about repairs in basement, especially in basement, injection grouting is different type of injection groutings are recommended, and they are the only things which can stop water in basements. People very frequently go for guniting. I personally believe, I may be wrong, but I personally believe that guniting from inside is not a long-term solution. You have a 300 mm concrete wall. It could not stop water. You're again creating a 35 to 50 mm shotcrete wall in front of it, which has a MS welded mesh inside, which can also get corroded when water comes. The same thing, if you do it from positive side, it will be much better. So I would recommend doing other things. There are other products which can be used. So basically for repairs, injection groutings, various kind of injection groutings are used. So this is positive and negative sides of a basement. So before just going ahead in grouting, I thought that we'll just take 1 minute on this. So positive side is when on a concrete wall you do any coating from outside, from the water pressure side. So that coating or any membrane or any other product when applied from outside will take care of that water pressure. It won't let water reach concrete, and especially concrete which has already been there, where the concrete was already mixed with a good quality crystalline admixture. The water won't go in. The coating is the second barrier. But if you have to do water coating from inside as a repair, just imagine that concrete, which is 300, 240 mm, which is taking all the water pressure and leaking. Chances of a coating repairing it are very less. There are products, very good crystalline based products, which can take care of that. But before doing that coating or anything, proper application has to be done so that a coating can be done on that wall from negative side. So the first grouting system, which is the basic grouting, is cementitious grouting. On the left side, on top is a grouting pump. It's a manual grouting pump, which is used to grout cement slurries. Now, there are two types of cementitious grouting systems. One is where it's done in situ, when you have cement at the site and the waterproofer gets a packet of admixture, which is non-shrink expandable grout compound powder, which is mixed with the cement. and then its slurry is made with adding water, and it's pumped into the concrete. Now, just imagine that on a 50 kg bag of cement and 100 grams of admixture, how would someone mix it properly so that it gets dispersed in entire powder? It becomes, it is part of the entire cement, 50 kg cement. The chances are less. That's why when something like this is done in concrete for repairs, some areas there is still leakages, because wherever the admixture and cement has gone, that area will get treated, and where only cement has gone, there the cement will go inside, the slurry will shrink, and it will become useless. It won't do anything. While if you see a machine on the left hand side bottom, which is the electric pump, now this is something which is used to grout a cementitious product which is factory made, a product which has all the admixture added to it. It has crystalline admixture added to it. It has fibers in it, and it's injected with at high pressure. Now, something like this, when goes inside, and now here we are doing it because why? Because there is already seepage in the wall. Now, if seepage is in the wall from inside is wet. There is moisture. So when you add crystalline admixture, when a product which has crystalline admixture inside, and when it goes into the wall, it reacts very fast. It does what it has to do. It is non-shrink, expandable grout, added with admixtures like crystalline admixtures, and it has fibers also. It will fill all the joints in the wall, concrete wall, almost all the joints. Maybe all the bigger voids, there'll be some problem, but otherwise 90% of the wall will be filled with this. So for minor repairs where the water seepage is minor, this is good. Now there are high-end products like polyurethane and epoxy grout. So now wherever active water is flowing, polyurethane grouts are the best. There are different type of grouts in polyurethane. There are single component, two components. So again, it's a technology in itself. So for that, separate session is required for grouting. PU grouts, single component or two components, they're hydrophobic. They react with water, and inside the wall, there's a foam inside the wall. It stops water instantaneously. Now, once you have in places where the water ingress is very high, if you use a crystalline grout, which I discussed just a while back, and after that, if you use polyurethane, I believe I have experience that the water stoppage is better than anything else. Of course, if you pour only polyurethane, nothing like it. But in larger sites, when there are big voids, the costing also has to be seen. Now, epoxy grouting is for crack repairs and giving strength to the structure. So it can be surface, it can be done with the surface packer, it can be done with the stainless steel packers, it can be zinc packers, various kind of packers are there. So these are the two machines which are grouting pumps, which are used for polyurethane and epoxy grouts. There are single component also. These are single component machines, pumps. There are two component pumps also which are used for this. So like on the right hand side, waterproofing, negative side waterproofing of basement areas, you have to do all kind of injection groutings from right hand from your negative side, so that the water, becomes from, see, this will be done only if there's no way to do waterproofing from positive side. So nothing can beat good waterproofing done from positive side. So waterproofing from negative side, a couple of systems have to be, and technology has to be used together in tandem to do the complete job, so that the water does not come in. So these are all primarily remedial waterproofing. Another good waterproof injection grouting for waterproofing is acrylic gel. In India, especially in residential segment, at least I have not come across anyone using acrylic gels. These are expensive. This is for places where the water ingress is not stopping, and drill has to be done across the wall 9-inch or like 240 mm or 300 mm or 350 mm walls, and a layer has to be formed outside. So in this, the acrylic gel is pushed outside the concrete wall, and it forms a layer gel outside the wall and stops water ingress. Among all the injection groutings, this is the best, but this is expensive and done mainly in large commercial buildings and large projects. So this is how you select your grouting systems. Microfine cement suspension, dry and wet areas for flexible areas like acrylate resins, dry and wet areas, and epoxy resin for dry areas, polyurethane resin for dry and wet areas both. So as I said earlier, the selection of the product and technology is the most important thing. While doing your analysis and inspection, after that, this is one of the major things, how you select the product, the right selection of the product and right application. This is a chart for selecting your grouting materials. And like for surface cracks, you use cement. These are suitable, and epoxies are very good where the cracks are very wide. Epoxy can be used there. And where the cracks are narrow, you can use coatings. Coating maybe below 0.5 mm, below 1 mm also. Coatings will be good. And for deep cracks, epoxy and polyurethanes. Now, wherever there's load transfer cracks in basements or columns along the columns, cement, again, product selection has to be done based on the actual site conditions. A lot of products are like, almost all these are suitable for many of them, but the right selection has to be done at the site after inspection and analysis. So this is to show that what type of cracks are there. Surface cracks, they can be done with coatings and some kind of gravity impregnation, maybe using some silane, siloxanes, or epoxies. And there are deep cracks which have to be repaired by cutting and patching, injection and with surface or drill packers. There are through and through cracks which can be done only with gels. So now third important is joint treatment. Now joint treatment for both old structures and new structures. So because whether it's an old structure where repair has to be, remedial work has to be done, or a new structure, joints treatment has to be done. So my favorite for this in new buildings is swellable water bars. There are different type of water stops. So I prefer to use swellable water bars. They can be bentonite, acrylic, and they can swell up to 400% when in contact with water. So as soon as water touches it, it starts swelling. So this is how you fix it. So if in a concrete cover with 75 to mm, you can use a 10 mm or 20 mm wide bar. And so you can see on the left hand side where the cage has already been made. In the center, you can fix this water bar. Again, depending on your width of your wall, it has to be selected. And it can be nailed. It can be used, applied using a special adhesive, which most of the companies who give you swellable water bars, they use those adhesives that can be done. And you can hire a waterproofing company to do this, or even your own team, civil contractors team can fix this. if you see image on the left hand side bottom, apart from cage, on the pipe also, inserts also, the bar has been fixed. And here also, when as soon as the concrete will be poured, and if water starts flowing from this area, this bar will immediately swell. And if it's a 190 mm wall thickness, you can use a 10 mm. Is a 200 wall thickness, you can use a 20 mm water bar. So this is the most neglected area in any structure. 95% of the residential construction, rather I would say 98% residential construction in basement, no contractor goes for fixing water bars. And later on, these are the only areas where the 90-degree joints between the raft and the wall, retaining wall, that's the area from where seepages are there. And the joint between two walls, 90-degree wall. So later on, it becomes difficult and more expensive to repair it. And if you fix a swellable water bar, your entire thing will be taken care of. These are PVC water stops. There was a time where when these were the most popular, all the government projects. They are still, even now in government projects, these are specified. And but the quality of this material has been going down. A lot of recycled PVC material is being used, which cracks. Sometimes while even fixing, it cracks. Flashing joint tapes can be, these are for bathrooms areas. All the, see, this is done only after the construction has been done, and there may be a problem for the joint or even for the new joints where there is no problem, and it's being done as protective thing. So let's say a bathroom wall and floor joint or wall to wall joints up to maybe 350 mm from floor level. If the flashing tapes, joint tapes should be fixed. Now, how you fix it is that you use tile adhesives to fix. After putting tile adhesive, you fix the tape, and on it you do the waterproofing, whatever you're doing in the bathroom on the sunken part, or even when it's not sunken. You can do it. Even in the basements, swimming pools, water tanks, any water retaining body, or any area where water seepage is, water is expected to go out of the tank, like that's a water retaining body, or maybe water seepage can come from other side. So this is a very good application. It has started now picking up at sites, and I would prefer to do this in a bathroom instead of doing a coving inside. So what's the basis? Approved, cracks and voids are treated, joints waterproof. The last step for effective waterproofing system is a provision of a surface barrier for water. Now, this defends the entire substrate from water and protects the structure from against all the leakages. So while there are many type of waterproofing systems, so it's very difficult to discuss all the waterproofing coatings at this time. But I would take top four, which are one component and two component rigid crystalline based barrier systems, and two component flexible cementitious waterproofing coatings, one component system based pitch modified polyurethane or aliphatic polyurethane coatings, and hydrophobic impregnation for concrete mortars and masonry. So one of the best systems is crystalline systems. They come, most of the companies, they give a single component system. Very few companies give two component system where they have powder, base powder, as well as special polymer. So these are both are specially blended systems. So again, product selection depends on what you are using and how you are using. So so I'll just take one moment, and now this one component crystalline system, this is a very good system for even while your basement is being casted. When your basement is being casted, when you are about to cast the raft, if you broadcast crystalline system 1K powder, maybe at depending on company to company, but 1.5 to 2 kg per square meter, if you broadcast just before the casting is to be done. Now, once the casting is done, the raft has been casted and the surface is still wet, green and green. If you sprinkle a broadcast again, maybe 1 to 1.2 kg or 1.5 kg, because the dosage depend from company to company. Different companies have different dosages. So from 1 kg to 1.5 kg, believe me, you're going to have an impregnable waterproof barrier basement. You won't get any water from the raft. So here you can see that on one side of the wall there is water, it's shown, and the other side the crystalline coating is being done, and the crystals, the coating, it moves towards the material, moves towards the water, and slowly it forms crystals there, and it blocks the capillaries. So all the capillaries will be blocked using this. So these systems have very good properties. So the flexural strength in 7 days, it is 4.8 Newton per square millimeter. And see, these coatings require times we have seen that after applying crystalline coating, the waterproofer says, sir, ये कर दिया, इसके बाद कुछ करने की जरूरत नहीं है, इसको क्योरिंग की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती. All these coatings, they require curing, but now the curing cannot be done using a pipe hose. It has to be done like a mist, using a pump, a back pump. It has to be used, sprayed as a mist. It has to be just moisture has to be applied. There's no need to put free flow water on it. In 7 days, compressive strength is almost 4.8 Newtons per millimeter, a square millimeter. And in 28 days, again, it is 8.6 mm. Addition strength is 1.2 Newton per square millimeter. And resistance to hydrostatic pressure from negative side will be in 20 days, 0.8 MPa. And water absorption as per IS 3085 would be nil. Now, this particular spec is from a product from SS Buildtech, and I have been using that material. These are some of the images of crystalline coatings. See, crystalline coatings are very versatile, and it creates barrier and diffuses itself into the concrete and blocks water from all the pores. So this works good with all masonry and concrete, and perform very well against negative side pressure. And I said earlier, it's a versatile system and works more on hydration process, and is very easy to mix at sites. It's not difficult at all. But again, how to do it, how to apply, you need a professional practicing waterproofer. So I will always emphasize on that instead of a waterproofer or a contractor. So you can use them anywhere. You can use them in indoor wet areas, bathrooms, kitchens. As I said earlier, broadcast media in basement floors and drafts. You can use it before casting of concrete slab. You can use it for masonry walls, basements, from negative sides, positive side, both sides. And you can also use it in podiums and STP. But normally there we use it as secondary system. We prefer to use a suitable primary system which will come in contact with water or sewage or ETP effluent. So it depends what is there in that tank. Only then the primary product will be decided. It's a very good product for swimming pools, again, as a secondary product. And it can be, again, positive or negative side waterproofing, both can be done. So it's, again, planter boxes, terrace gardens. I've used this product extensively there as my basic coating. And after this, any other product is applied. So this is used normally I use it when the surface is still green, immediately after the casting is done. So within 7 to 8 days of the casting, we use it. So second beautiful product is flexible cementitious coatings systems, 2-component systems. These are pre-mixed blends of cement, additives, fibers, and which has to be specially formulated polymer. So what's happening in waterproofing industry, as I had said in the very beginning, that it's a highly unorganized and industry. So what happens that many waterproofers who have become so-called experts in so many years, what they do, they buy polymer, any polymer from market. They buy cement, they add fiber in it, they add a little bit of quartz sand in it, and say this is a 2-component, claim that this is a 2-component cementitious system. And sir, ये system किसी भी अच्छी कंपनी से अच्छा है. सब कंपनियां यही चीज देती है अपने पास से पैक करके, हम यहाँ पे बना देंगे, आपको सस्ते में पड़ जाएगा. तो लोग सस्ते में पड़ने के लिए उनसे वो मटेरियल ले लेते हैं, लेकिन वो सस्ता नहीं पड़ता, वो महंगा पड़ता है. Because as I said, don't ask me cost of waterproofing, ask me cost of not waterproofing or poor waterproofing. So here, जब आप सस्ते के चक्कर में जा रहे हैं, तो आप स्पेसिफिकेशन को डाइल्यूट कर रहे हैं, आप प्रोडक्ट को डाइल्यूट कर रहे हैं. जो क्वालिटी जिस जगह पे लगनी है, जो प्रोडक्ट लगना है और जैसे लगना है, आप उसको वैसे नहीं लगा रहे, आप वो प्रोडक्ट लगा रहे हैं. और कल को ये होता है कि वाटरप्रूफिंग फेल हो गई. वाटरप्रूफिंग करने वाला फेल नहीं, वाटरप्रूफिंग फेल हो गई, पैसा खराब हो गया, हमें नहीं करानी चाहिए थी. So the 4 images are of different areas where the waterproofing has been done using a 2-component cementitious. Now this is a very flexible system. This is a very flexible system. Now in this, so primarily it's a 2-component cementitious system. The different manufacturers have different blends and may have a blend of crystalline powder in some of the products. Polymer percentage also differs, and that's how the price differs. So I would give you a very small example of 4 different products. That there's a good brand, Parex, which has been taken by Sika now. K11 Flex, I have used more than 100 tons in last few years. Now the polymer content is 27.77%. Now Sika has a product, very popular product called Top Seal 107, which is specified in many government tenders. It has a polymer content of 25%. And believe me, it's a very expensive product. But polymer content is lowest, among the lowest. Access Build Chem, Cristoseal Flex, amazing product, highly flexible. I have not tested it, but as per the test report, it says, as a TDS of the company, it says it's almost 150% elongation, and it has 50% polymer. Again, Star Specialty Polymers, Star Sam 2K, it's also 50%. Now, among these 4 products, if I compare, apart from the polymer content, The another major difference among these four is that SS Bilchem's product Crystal Flex has crystalline admixture added, crystalline component added to it. So this product is giving dual benefits. It's crystalline also, and it is two component flexible also. So it has the best of both the technologies. It gives you best of both the technologies. So the general properties of this is that elongation can be 100 to rather 50 to 150% as per ASTM, and tensile strength would be somewhere around 1.2 to 1.7, and addition to concrete would be 1 Newton per millimeter square, and crack bridging capacity again it's up to 2 mm because it's 50 to 150 elongation. So depending on product to product, the best would be about 2 mm. So this system is ready for foot traffic in 4 hours, and water ponding should be done in 8 to 72 hours. Now here when I'm talking about water ponding, what happens at most of the construction sites, a waterproofer will say, sir, आज काम करूंगा, कल पानी भर के टेस्ट कर लेना. Nowhere a manufacturer specifies in data sheet that after how many days it should be ponded with water for testing. Yes, a few companies do it, but not everyone. Ideally, it should be minimum 48 hours in summers and 72 hours in winters. Before that, if you pond it with water, there will be problems. I have seen a film formed on top of the coating where that film should not be formed if the coating has cured. A minimum 48 to 72 hours is required for curing of the coating. Another thing here, that let's say someone has done a waterproofing of a sunken area or of a terrace where the depth is 9 inches in some 8 to 9 sunken area. Now what is done at the site, project team, they will do, they fill the entire area with 9 inches or 8 to 9 inches of water. They do not go through any technical specifications. They do not ask the waterproofer technical specifications that how much ponding should be done, when should be done, and for how much time it should be done. See, every coating is different. Every system is different. If you are doing a system for waterproofing of a water storage tank, see, there you will have to pond it up to ponding up to the top of the tank. Maybe it's a 4 feet tank, let's say swimming pool. It's a 4 feet depth. All the time there'll be water in it, so it has to be tested for 4 feet water. But in a bathroom where the water ponding is not going to be there, later on there's no water storage. It's not meant for water storage. It's a protection so that if water is there, it won't seep, it won't leak. There you should not go for more than 50 mm of ponding after 48 to 72 hours, and for not more than 48 hours. While in a swimming pool, a good testing would be 7 to 8 days. We would prefer to fill water in a swimming pool at 1 feet depth every day. So you take 4 days to fill water, 4 feet water. And when you are taking water out after 5 or 6 days or 7 days of testing, take out 1 feet every day. That's the system. Now, where you can use this is concrete, brick wall, precast, lightweight blocks, shotcrete. This has also been used for your efflorescence treatment. And it can be used for your bathrooms, kitchen, masonry walls, podiums, drinking water tanks, swimming pools, retaining walls. For all these areas, this is a primary system. So there are the third one, we come to polyurethane systems. Now they have been becoming very popular. while I would, given a personal choice, I would any day go for two component cementitious or crystalline coatings. But yes, there are some places where polyurethane systems are required, and they should be used for those. So there are two type of systems. Basically, the first type is pitch modified polyurethanes, which are PU modified with bitumen, and they are mainly for concealed areas, as these are not UV stabilized. This can't be exposed to sun, and this is good for terrace gardens and podiums. And again, they can be mixed match of crystalline and pitch modified, or two component cementitious and pitch modified for terraces and podiums, for terrace gardens and planter boxes. Now, type 2 is hybrid polyurethane. Generally, it comes in white color. It is for exposed areas. This is UV stabilized. And this is also, again, can be used for terraces and podiums. Metal AC sheets, very good product for metal metal sheets and asbestos sheets on the roof. And facades and balconies. And some of the companies also claim that this product has very good heat reflectivity and solar reflectivity index of anywhere between 1.05 to 1.09. So before using it for solar reflectivity, technical data sheet and specification should be checked. And again, a professional practicing waterproofer should be used. These are specialized products. So on the left hand side, there's a black color coating. You can see this is a pitch modified system, polyurethane system. And there are other three images which are for, one is for your metal sheets, which, see if it's a factory shed and if it's a large area, if all the sheets have, some of the sheets have got damaged, most of the sheets have got damaged, they have rusted, this is the best product for that. This is the best product for that. After doing the rust treatment and doing a PU primer, epoxy primer, if you use a good polyurethane coating, it will give three things. One, rusting will stop. Number two, it will waterproof. And number three, this will also reflect heat, and there'll be some form of insulation, thermal insulation inside the building. So now difference primarily between both are mainly color, and one is UV stabilized, otherwise other one is not UV stabilized. Elongation, there'll be some difference, not too much of a difference. Tensile strength and crack bridging capacities will be same. Now the fourth system is hydrophobic impreg. Say someone is marking on their screens, please don't do it. There's disturbance. Thank you. So hydrophobic impregnation system. So these are basically surface applied invisible penetrating non-film forming coatings, and they increase concrete durability. They don't change aesthetic appearance of the structure or of the stone or concrete, and these are water repellent. Now these can be applied on concrete, these can be applied on brick, this can be applied on stone. Different companies have different type of products. There are some companies who recommend to spray it with a handheld spray pump, kind of agriculture pump kind of a thing. And now these are to be used pure, no water has to mix in this. So most of the coatings like PU also, you cannot mix any water in it. So now this can be hydrophobic impregnation systems can be used anywhere on the walls, stone walls. A lot of temples, I would say, a lot of temples have sandstone installed on the facade. This is a very good product for that. And there are certain products in this segment which, when applied, you cannot stick posters on the wall also. I doubt they are available in India right now. Maybe one or two companies, but I haven't come across anyone. If someone wants, I can find out. So when you see on the wall a beautiful house in Greater Kailash, with a very good Dholpur or Gwalior stone, Gwalior mint installed outside, and someone has written on it, or someone had posted a poster on it, pasted a poster on it, and it looks dirty. So when you remove, the stains are always there. So say there are coatings which can be used for that. So this some of these products can penetrate up to 12.5 mm, 12 to 15 mm inside the surface, depending upon the porosity. And being most of these being nano technology based products and has nanoparticles, the particle size is very small. In some of the product, the particle size is smaller than the water particle size. So wherever water can reach in concrete, these products can reach almost, if not through and through, but almost 12 to 15 mm inside. And once they go there, they form a complete solidify in that area. And as it's not on the surface, this is not a surface coating. So they don't form any kind of film on top, and they don't change any aesthetic appearance. So one of my favorite is building envelope. So building envelope is not a very very popular terminology in India as of now. While if you search Google for building envelope, you'll find so many things in US and Europe and Australia and New Zealand. So in India, it's not being promoted as building envelope, but we have done every year. Actually, we do almost 5 to 6 such projects, and they're largely large houses or farmhouses, and houses near main roads where there's a lot of traffic, lot of soot, and a lot of carbon emission. Like from let's say in Delhi, areas like South Extension, Greater Kailash, Main Road, and near Savitri, near Nehru Place, these areas. So what is building envelope? Say it's to completely seal the building from all around, so that water, dust, heat does not seep in from anywhere. So even insulation will be a part of building enveloping. So building envelope, it's mainly insulation, thermal insulation, waterproofing, sealants, protective coatings. So waterproofing we have already discussed, and insulation we can discuss some other time, because this is primarily for waterproofing this time. So, and sealants and protective coatings. So how do they help? How do they help? They as this can be applied on external wall for water and heat. So waterproofing and heat proofing, thermal proofing. So that's believe me that after you apply a good coating, the temperature differential can easily be from 3 to 5%. For terrace treatment, for waterproofing and insulation. So as an enveloping part, terrace, sides, everything is covered. So waterproofing we have already covered there. So the extra thing would be insulation, so that there's no heat from the terrace. Windows and structure joints for water, dust, and air. So for external wall, we use anti-carbonation coatings. These are elastic, elastomeric coatings, solvent-free, high carbon dioxide diffusion resistance, excellent crack bridging, UV resistant, environment pollution and soot resistant, resistant to biological growth, moss and mold, and obviously waterproofing. This is not paint, but this can be used as decorative paint. Can be used on external plaster, can be used on building facades, can be used in basement parking. We have got very good results in basement parkings. Can be used in industrial interiors, in factories. Again, sealants, foam and adhesive. No building can be sealed properly from water, heat, and dust unless you use good sealants to seal the window joints, the joint between window frame and concrete or brick or metal frame walls. So all sealants are not silicons. अभी क्या होता है, हम कहते हैं सिलिकॉन ले आओ, सिलिकॉन की ट्यूब आती है, गन में लगाते हैं और लगा देते हैं. We don't see what type of silicon is there. See, most of the silicons you buy from market, it is written GP, German general purpose silicons. They are the cheapest forms. You can get right from 45 rupees of a imported Chinese silicon to maybe 135, 145, up to maybe 170 of a good quality silicon. So there are different type of that product has been branded as silicon. See, there are PUs, there are acrylics, there are MS sealants, there are rubber, there are acry rubbers. There's the blend of these, which are used for different applications. So UPVC windows frame outside, there could be a different kind of sealant. From inside, there will be a different kind of sealant. So again, it has to be planned, designed, that what has to be used, where has to be used, and how it has to be used. So now PU foam for window and door frame fixing. You will find that window frames and door frames on the corners, maybe within 6 months or a year of the house, the cracks appear. The cracks appear because the window frames and doors have not been fixed properly. They are slamming cracks. When someone closes the door, the cracks appear because there is no cushioning in between. But you see now, most of the even in the buildings like builders like Ario with Mahindra and others, you'll find with Oberoi's, you'll find that they are using foam for both window and joint frame fixing. And actually they cost less than any type of other fixing. So sealants from masonry cracks, if there are cracks on the exterior of the building, the cracks, there are separate masonry cracks for that. Now sealant for MS joints and masonry crack joints, for sealants from bricks and concrete, when you construct a building on a concrete frame structure, and when you start filling the walls, there's always a gap between the concrete beam on the top and the brick walls. So what normally mason does, he fills it with mortar and he cannot fill it properly. So that's the best area for use foams. Now, one topic which I have not taken in here is expansion joints also. So buildings, normally in residential sector, expansion joints are not there. But if someone has a large house and maybe someone has given an expansion joint, a good PU sealant should be used there to seal it. So these are the detailings. I have taken liberty of using these detailings from SS Buildtech, and their detailing I find one of the best. So everything is given in detail so that anyone, any applicator or any architect, when he has to design a system, he has to just look at the details and see what is required, where it is required, and how it is required. Everything is there in it. So you can say this is kind of a Bible to us. Whenever we are designing a system, a good detailing like this from a manufacturer always helps, because a waterproofing company may not have those kind of resources to create all these detailings. So this is another detail between waterproofing of sunken slabs and bathrooms, waterproofing of swimming pools. So you'll see that that lot of care has been taken for all the points, that all the joints or the covings, that your swellable bars, everything has been given in detail. So anyone wants this presentation or details like this can get in touch with me, and we will definitely send the details. And if anybody wants some standard BOQs for residential sector segment, we will be too happy to share a standard BOQ, and you can use it for your tenders or anything. We can give an open file. So we'll be having upcoming webinars next week. It will be on sealant and adhesive in collaboration with McCoy Sudal, and next week there'll be again a webinar on thermal insulations. So anyone who is interested, will be sending invitations, and we'll look forward to seeing you there also. Thank you. This is my email ID and my number and my current website. So another website for Dry Shield is will be uploaded tonight, which is focused only on waterproofing. So it will help in knowing things further. So thank you very much. I'm open to questions.
First of all, thank you very much for this elaborated presentation, Sandeep ji.
Thank you, Nitin.
हम लोग बात करते हैं ना पानी रे. So you know, पानी से ही कंक्रीट, पानी से ही सीमेंट, पानी से ही बिल्डिंग, पानी से ही सब कुछ. So but sometime, you know, when we are done with water, so that water also gives you a problem. So then you try to stop that water. So there are different ways, there are different techniques you talked about. You talked about a lot of different type of product range also. Started with the base and then the cracks, then plugging, then crystalline, you know, polymer coatings, hydrophobic and building envelopes. And you summarize it very well, sir. Thank you so much, first of all.
Yeah, Nitin will be, as Nitin has discussed earlier, we will be in weeks to come. We will be doing, you know, sessions only on, let's say, terrace waterproofing and insulation.
Perfect.
Bathroom, toilet and bathroom and wet areas.
Right. We discussed that.
Yeah.
I'm going to announce the same thing. We have got a lot of questions during your presentation. Everybody has put on mute because we wanted you to first, you know, finish the presentation. There are a couple of questions which I'm going to take up right now. I'm going to ask you those questions because in the chat box, a lot of people, they have written the questions. And I will start with the first question, which is from Manish Gupta. Will injection grouting make bond with the old concrete surface? Question to you. Again,
Manish, the thing is that a system has to be followed for that. Now, what I understand is that if it's an old concrete structure, now if you pump in just a cement slurry mixed with some kind of admixture, it won't work. It won't work. So, but if you pump in a good crystalline factory mixed premix system, it will work. It can work, but only after you pre-wet the concrete from inside. See, because the crystalline will work only when there is moisture. If there is no moisture, if it is dry, it won't work. So ideally, there should be the system should be. So we have at number of places. What we have done is first we have pumped in water. In any case, you'll do that kind of repair only if there is leakage. If there is no leakage, you are not in any case not going to pump in concrete cement slurry. But in case there is a dry area and cracks are there, then you'll have to do epoxy injection grouting. In that case, you'll have to do epoxy injection grouting. Okay, thank you so much. The next question is from Shobit Pandir. Shobit has asked for toilets in sunken area, which are the best ways for waterproofing in initial stages, and what are the remedial measures post construction? See, Shobit, in new buildings, when you have the surface with you, everything is lying in front of you. So best is to use a good two-component flexible system. That is the best thing for waterproofing in sunken areas, toilet sunken areas. But now here care has to be taken that while you are doing the waterproofing, a complete system has to be designed. The slope has to be designed. A weep hole should be given towards the shaft if it's available, so that the water, if it gets accumulated, it can drain. It can get drained. What people normally mistake they do is they waterproof the surface, the basic mother concrete, but after just below the tiling, when they do PCC over whatever lightweight aggregate they have filled, they do not do waterproofing at that level. Now, in case you are using a good quality of tile adhesive, some sort of waterproofing is done. It takes care of that. And if you are using epoxy grouts, सोने पे सुहागा. बट अगर आप उसके ऊपर नॉर्मल मसाला डाल के टाइल लगा रहे हो तो आई वुड से पीसीसी के ऊपर आप सबसे पहले वाटरप्रूफिंग करें. ये तो हो गया उसके फ्लोर का. लेकिन अगर वॉल का, पीपल, लॉट ऑफ पीपल, जैसे दीवार पे तो पानी आता ही नहीं है. दीवार में कहाँ पानी आना है, दीवार पे तो टाइल लग गई है. लेकिन शॉवर एरियाज, सी लॉट ऑफ पीपल आर नाउ यूजिंग स्टीम इन द रूम्स, इन द बाथरूम्स. सो बिकॉज ऑफ दैट द वाटर इट पेनिट्रेट्स द वॉल्स. और दीवार के उस तरफ या तो आपका बेडरूम है या ड्राइंग रूम है, कुछ तो होगा, या आपकी कैबिन कबर्ड लगी होगी. कबर्ड सारी की खराब हो जाती हैं. So the cost of that small area of waterproofing on the wall would not be maybe 2,000 or 3,000 rupees in shower area. Area होता ही कितना है शॉवर का. तो अगर आपने उस पे 4,000 में, तो 5,000 रुपये लगा दिए, it's a small amount. In a regular house there will be not more than 4 bathrooms, so 20,000 rupees. But look at the amount of the headache you'll save. कल को कबर्ड चेंज करानी है, सारी प्लाई खराब हो गई, कुछ भी हो गया, सारा गंदा हो जाता है, दीवारें खराब होती हैं, पेंट उतरता है, उसको कोई नहीं देखता. वो कहते हैं कि दीवार पे करने की जरूरत नहीं है. सो नीचे भी वाटरप्रूफिंग करें आप, उसके बाद पीसीसी पे भी करें और उसके बाद दीवार पे भी करें. नहीं, अब आपका सेकंड था रेमेडियल. देखो रेमेडियल में तो कुछ नहीं हो सकता जब तक कि आप टाइलें ना निकालें सारी बाथरूम में. तो टाइलें निकालेंगे, एक्सकवेट करेंगे, नीचे जाएंगे, सब कुछ दोबारा लगाएंगे. और वहां पे जो लीकेज हो रही होगी 90% आपके ड्रेन्स में से हो रही होगी, मैनुअल उसमें अपना पाइप में से हो रही होगी, वो उसको रिपेयर करना जरूरी है. यहाँ पे सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट है, चाहे वो रिपेयर के लिए है या ओरिजिनल करने के लिए, जो आपकी पाइप्स हैं उन पाइप्स के चारों तरफ कोर कट को सील करना. अगर आप कोर कट को सील नहीं करेंगे, लोग क्या करते हैं उसमें मसाला भरवा देते हैं प्लम्बर से कि वो प्लम्बर का स्कोप है, वो वाटरप्रूफिंग का स्कोप नहीं मानते, उसको प्लम्बर का स्कोप करते हैं. और लेकिन जब लीकेज होती है तो वाटरप्रूफर को बोलते हैं कि लीकेज हो गई, आपने वाटरप्रूफिंग करी तो थी. होता क्या है कि प्लम्बर उसके साइड में जब मसाला भरता है, मसाला भरने के बाद क्योरिंग का टाइम ही कहाँ होता है उसके पास. क्योरिंग तो वो करता ही नहीं, क्योंकि वो तो जो तो ओनर के या ठेकेदार के, चौकीदार का काम है करना. वो इसलिए नहीं करता, उसको किसी ने कहा नहीं. तो इसीलिए वहां पे फोम, हम आमतौर पे वहां पहले पीयू फोम भरते हैं एटलीस्ट 2-2 इंच तक, और उसके ऊपर माइक्रो कंक्रीट भर देते हैं. सो माइक्रो कंक्रीट या माइक्रो ग्राउट्स एंड फोम, दीज आर द गुड प्रोडक्ट्स फॉर दैट. So I think I have answered both your points.
I think very well answered, Sandeep ji. I would like to add कि सबसे पहले waterproofing की तह तक जाना जरूरी है. बोलते तो हैं हम लोग कि waterproofing हो गई है, तो हमें वो सोर्स ढूंढना जहाँ से पानी का लीकेज है. अगर वो सोर्स ही बंद हो गया, प्लग कर दिया हम लोगों ने, so I think 99% of the problem is already resolved.
सर सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम साथ में ये भी होती है कि हर किसी साइट के ऊपर प्लम्बिंग के लिए प्लम्बिंग कॉन्ट्रैक्टर होता है
जी,
आपका टाइल के लिए टाइल कॉन्ट्रैक्टर होता है, स्टोन के लिए स्टोन कॉन्ट्रैक्टर होता है, सिविल के लिए सिविल कॉन्ट्रैक्टर होता है, हर चीज के लिए एक्सपर्ट होता है. एक्सेप्ट वाटरप्रूफिंग ये है जिसके लिए वाटरप्रूफिंग एक्सपर्ट को नहीं बुलाया जाता, उसके ऊपर सिविल कॉन्ट्रैक्टर कर देता है कि ये कर देगा. प्लम्बिंग वाले भी करते हैं वाटरप्रूफिंग, इलेक्ट्रिशियंस भी वाटरप्रूफिंग करने लग गए हैं.
क्या बात है. नहीं, वेरी वेल सेड. आई थिंक जिसका काम उसी को साजे.
हाँ जी.
तो आई थिंक दैट इज the best message which you have given in your presentation also. अगला क्वेश्चन जो है that is from a number basically 590897EF. The question is, for basements what are the specific materials we can use for waterproofing?
See, basements में again question is positive side negative side. So I'll first assume कि अगर कोई घर बना रहा है, let's say कोठी है, तो उसके चारों तरफ जगह होगी पॉजिटिव साइड से करने के लिए. अगर पॉजिटिव साइड से करने के लिए जगह है और कंक्रीटिंग के टाइम पे आपने एडमिक्सचर डाल लिया है, जो क्रिस्टलाइन एडमिक्सचर डाल लिया है, आप कोई भी डालें कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, बट क्रिस्टलाइन एडमिक्सचर टेक्स केयर ऑफ 90% ऑफ वाटरप्रूफिंग एट दैट स्टेज. उसके बाद अगर बाहर से आपने करना है, आप क्रिस्टलाइन भी कर सकते हैं, आप 2 कंपोनेंट फ्लेक्सिबल कोटिंग भी कर सकते हैं. वहां पे बहुत लोग रिकमेंड करते हैं कि आप उसमें पिच मॉडिफाइड पीयू भी करते हैं. बट इंपॉर्टेंट है कुछ भी आप करें उसको करने के बाद उसके ऊपर प्रोटेक्शन प्लास्टर जरूर करें अगर बाहर से करना है। नंबर 2, डिटेलिंग इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फ्रॉम आउटसाइड। आपकी वॉल के नीचे, जहां आपकी वॉल खत्म होती है और है, उसके नीचे एक काउंटर प्रेशर डलना बहुत जरूरी है। लोग उसको वहीं पे सीधा खत्म कर देते हैं, वहां पे उसी जॉइंट से लीकेज होती है। अगर आपने वहां काउंटर प्रेशर क्रिएट कर लिया, if you go on Google and search for below grade waterproofing detailing, you'll find पूरे यूरोप में, पूरे यूएस में प्रॉपर डिटेल्स हैं, उस बिल्डिंग कोड्स हैं वाटरप्रूफ बेसमेंट की, वाटरप्रूफिंग के एक्सटर्नल, बेसमेंट की एक्सटर्नल एरिया के वाटरप्रूफिंग के लिए वहां पे ड्रेन देनी पड़ती है, चैनल बनाना पड़ता है ताकि पानी निकल जाए। हमारे यहाँ अभी स्लोप भी मेंटेन नहीं करते हैं बाहर में, उसका स्लोप भी प्रॉपर मेंटेन नहीं करते हैं उसके लिए। तो ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है करना उसमें। और हाँ, अगर अंदर से करना है, बाहर से आपके पास जगह नहीं है करने के लिए, अगर अंदर से करना है, नेगेटिव साइड से करना है, तो अगेन आपने क्रिस्टलाइन एडमिक्सचर तो ऐड कर ही दिया। उसके बाद अंदर से द बेस्ट इज क्रिस्टलाइन कोटिंग। बट आफ्टर रिपेयरिंग ऑल द पॉइंट्स, all your cracks, everything, जहां पे भी कोल्ड जॉइंट्स है उन सबको करने के बाद, if you want, you can write to me or write to Nitin. We can send you a specification and maybe detailing for it.
Very well said, sir.
Yeah.
The next question, which I have got from Pradeep Dimman, he is asking about the water bar जो कि आप use करते हैं. Can it be used only in RCC joints, or you can use it at?
No, this is for joints. This is for your RCC joints. So, if you see the complete specification, you'll find that it has to be done at all your lifts, So, if you are doing 4 feet and then you're doing next 4 feet and doing next 4, it should be put in all those lifts. All your 90-degree joints between floor and your wall, and 90-degree joints between your vertical walls in the center there.
Okay, thank you. The next question is from Simran Kumar. That question is, what is the treatment for deep cracks? Very interesting.
Again, deep cracks, epoxies can be used, and again, we're using a grouting pump, epoxy and polyurethane foam. These are the two things. Again, depends on what's the depth of the crack and what's the width of the crack top. So, and could be a mixture of couple of things. Again, it's on vertical or horizontal. So,
and once the deep crack is filled through, do you recommend any kind of a coating on that afterwards?
See, again, if it's on the wall, then I would definitely recommend some kind of sealant on top, so that it works as an expansion joint kind of a thing, which is something like, which is paintable, or a repair mortar, good pre-mixed repair. ये जो साइड पे बैठ के मसाला बना के रिपेयर मोटार बनाने का जो तरीका है ना, वो सबसे गलत है, क्योंकि उसकी क्योरिंग होती नहीं है, और क्योरिंग होती नहीं है तो वो क्रैक करेगा ही करेगा, अपनी जगह छोड़ जाएगा, और वो दोबारा रिपेयर मांगेगा थोड़ी देर के बाद.
Exactly. और आपको ये भी, I think I just want to add here that whether those cracks are really because of the movement, or those cracks are only the plaster cracks, you have to really identify the nature of the crack.
Yeah, they are mobile cracks.
Crack or
yeah. So all that has to be considered.
Exactly. The treatment has to be accordingly, depending upon it is really a movement crack, or because of expansion joints, or because of movement of the building, or sway, or maybe because of only the plaster. So those cracks can be treated accordingly.
Yes.
Okay, we move on to the next question. The next question is from Manish Gupta. He has specified that you have missed one thing, that crystalline systems coatings over green concrete is mandatory. So do you also vouch that, or what you have to say?
See, that's the best time to do it. That's the best time to do it on green concrete. In fact, that's the best time to do any good waterproofing.
Yeah, you have to plug the capillaries.
Yeah, so that's the best time.
Exactly. We move to the next question, which is again from Shobit Pundir. Can we apply this water barrier coating to vertical components such as walls, especially about crystalline coatings की बात कर रहे हैं?
हाँ, कर सकते हैं. It's on all surfaces, walls, Whether it's a brick wall, it's a concrete wall, it can be done on any surface.
Okay. Nikhil Chaharji एक question पूछ रहे हैं, that is about the ETP and the water tanks. Their question is, if we apply crystalline waterproofing from negative side, should we do plaster after that or not? That is the first question. And along with that, he is asking, should we mix waterproofing chemical in plaster mortar? If we leave the coating open, then it may react with the chemicals of ETP. What do you suggest?
See, this is a very interesting and very good question. सबसे पहले तो ETP को अंदर से waterproof करना चाहिए. कि अगर आप अंदर से waterproof नहीं करोगे, बाहर से आपने crystalline coating भी कर भी ली, आपने, आप देखिए सबसे पहले तो अंदर, this is for STP, not for ETP, crystalline coating. It is for sewage treatment. आपका ETP में effluents होते हैं. Effluents के लिए coatings, it takes, see, lot of analysis has been done. What effluents are there? What kind of industry is there? क्या oil based industry है, chemical based industry है, automotive है, तो उसमें क्या lubricants ज़्यादा आ रहे हैं, क्या आ रहा है, उस पे depend करता है. And in that case, waterproofing has to be done only from inside, not from outside.
But his question is whether the waterproofing compound will react with the material.
It will definitely, it will react with that.
उससे लाइफ पे कोई फर्क पड़ेगा?
जब चलेगा ही नहीं वहाँ पे.
So it won't work then. You have to.
I think Samir is also online. If someone can.
I think Aarti is there.
Assess Buildcom.
Aarti, can you please unmute Assess Buildcom, please? Okay. In the meantime, we can take other questions.
Yeah.
The next question is from Kanika Jain. Can you recommend company for hydrophobic integration system?
I think open forum pe I would not like to name a company for that. If you send me a mail, definitely I'll give you. 2 or 3 times I said name of SS Buildcom because a lot of material which I was doing, I have been using from SS Buildcom. Even in my presentation, I had used a lot of content from them, taken their help. So that's why I use their name. So normally in such interactions, we don't like to use names of any manufacturer because this is a generic session, not product based. Yes, if you ask me 3 names, I can give you comparison. But please send me a mail. Definitely, I'll write to you. Definitely.
Okay, thank you. The next question is from Devangi Chaudhary. Which material is best to waterproof leaking roof of old house?
Which is best? Okay, for an old house. So now again, it depends. Actual can be said only after inspection and analysis, but I would suggest that in an old structure, I believe either it will be a brick bed coba or mud fuska. If either of these two or anything else, it has to be removed, and you have to reach the mother slab. You reach mother slab if you want to increase life of that structure. If you want to just keep it for a year or so, there are other things. But you remove brick bed coba or mud fuska and go to the mother slab, treat that. Treat that with 2 component cementatious. That's the best product for that. 2K flexible in that. But if it's brick bed coba and it's not too much damaged, then there are systems which can be applied on top of it. But after application of waterproofing on top of it, you should lay tiles. Lay tiles with tile adhesive, good quality tile adhesive, and with minimum 3 to 4 mm tile joints, and ideally fill it with epoxy tile grout.
Sandeep, a lot of time, what we have observed also that brick bed coba, because of the environmental conditions, a lot of time the stress cracks being observed on the brick bed cobas also. Yeah. So do you recommend anything to cover up those cracks also on brick bed coba?
Yeah, see, brick bed entire surface has to be treated for that. If there are very wide cracks and if you start hammering and you find that it's loose, it's damaged, then you have to remove it entirely. But in case you find that structure is still sound,
जी.
but cracks have appeared. Then there are products you have to first fill in the cracks, repair the cracks, and in at least one case I remember we had done injection grouting there, and otherwise fill the cracks, and there are very good coatings on top of it. You can have two component cementitious coating. You can have pitch modified polyurethane coating because it has 350% elongation, and at this stage you require very good elongation and crack bridging because the cracks may appear again, and there you on top of it you can lay your tiles.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. The next question is from Pradeep from Rajiv Associates. He's asking about which ready-mix polymer-based mortar best for repairing the joints. That's a question number one. And how we can use the swellable water bars in lift. Third question is, what is the best waterproofing system for sunken areas in toilets? Before you move on to the answer, Pradeep, I would suggest that there is a next seminar which we have planned specifically for wet and sunken areas, especially bathrooms and kitchens. I would really advise you to join that seminar also. We will do a webinar on that. Probably on Tuesday, same timing, 4 to 6, and that is for the information of everybody who is in this forum. We can answer all those questions over there, but over to you, Sandeep ji, so that you can answer this also.
So almost part of it I've already answered, that two component cementitious, very good for bathrooms and sunken areas. And for your lift wells, yeah, definitely wherever there is lift wells में आपको swellable bar ऊपर नहीं लेके आने की जरूरत, only till the basement level, below the basement floor. If your lift is going below your basement floor level, only that area you require water bar, and I don't think it will be more than 1 meter there. So maybe if they're 4 feet by 4 feet or 6 by 6 feet pit, so at the bottom you have to just put one layer and 4 joints, vertical joints. That's it. That's
okay.
it. What was the third point? One was
the third point was, which is the best waterproofing system for sunken areas in toilets?
The two component cementitious.
Okay. The next question is from Vikas. Which waterproofing material will be used for expansion joint in basements? What do you recommend?
For expansion joints in basement. So as you are talking about residences, so residences में होते नहीं हैं. But yes, if it is a commercial building, large structure and basements में, see up to 40 mm, maximum I would say 50 mm. अगर वहां तक के आपके expansion joints हैं, so polyurethane PU sealants are the best. उसके लिए PU sealant best है. But if they are above that, then there are EPDM products, there are TPO products, various products are there which we can fix on top with the epoxy adhesive. Again, there's a system for it. So I can share that system with you. So first you have to use epoxy on the edges, clean the edges, epoxy on the edges, fix your membrane on top of it, then again seal it with epoxy and cover it with the aluminum or any metal cover plate. So people use aluminum, people use stainless steel also cover plates. So special cover plates also come for that.
I agree. Just to add with what Sandeep ji is saying, because polyurethane sealant has a very good movement capabilities. So elongation can go up to 300 to 400% also. And the best part of polyurethane is it's UV stabilized. And at the same time, it makes very good bond between the cementitious surface. So that is why we recommend polyurethane. And you have to be a little bit careful when you use polyurethane in especially these basement joints, because it should not be used to make a bond between the three sides. It has to be only two-side bonding. So you have to use backer rod. You have to use some backer rod so that it should be only two-side jointing possible. And then up to 40 mm, like Sandeep ji said, 40 mm, that is what normally companies like us we recommend. 40 mm. People go up to 50 mm also. Depends upon whether it is a low modulus sealant or it is a high modulus sealant, which basically relates to the elongation when the stress is there. But 40 to 50 mm, you can use polyurethane sealants. good quality polyurethane sealants. Above that, normally people go for elastomeric joints seals,
Yeah.
or they go for a plate joints.
Great joints.
So that is what is
And
normally.
especially to add to it, especially in the floor joints, you can also use self-level pew joints also.
G.
Up to again up to 40, 50 mm maximum.
G. That's a low modulus sealant.
Yeah.
Okay, we move on to the next question. We have 5 minutes left to wind up our session. Few questions. The next question is from Vishali Kishan. What is the strategy to help prevent moisture attack in concrete roofs?
What is the
strategy, or what do you recommend to prevent the moisture attack in concrete roofs?
Moisture attack. See, waterproofing, you have to clean the surface and apply a good waterproofing system that can be selected upon the size of the and the structure of the building. So a two-component cementitious, polyurethanes, again depends on your requirement. If you are creating a terrace garden, a different system will be done. If you are doing some kind of softscaping, it's a different system. If you are putting tiles on top of it, different systems are there. So these can be different systems have to be designed. But yes, waterproofing from top has to be done, definitely.
Ji.
Yeah.
I think Vishali, the main thing what Sandeep ji is saying, that first of all, you try that there should not be any water stagnant on the roof. If there is a water stagnant on the roof, then there is a problem. So ensure that the proper gradient is maintained, so that the water has an exit to a particular place. That is one. Two, crack-free structure. Like he has already mentioned that the concrete has to be proper. Compaction has to be proper, water cement ratio he has discussed, and then at the same time, how you can make it hydrophobic concrete. That is what he has already discussed. So a lot of factors you can take care starting from the construction, and then the last method is covering, envelope.
So it's a complete system.
Yes.
A complete system has to develop. Nothing can go in isolation.
Ji.
Even if you are doing insulation on top of it, what insulation you are doing, it depends on that. What you are covering that insulation with. Then you have to maintain proper slope. There should not be a stagnant water anywhere. If you are using tiles, a different system. If you are using stone, that everything has to be. Questions have to be asked. Should be asked by the waterproofing professional, and he has to ask questions.
Right.
What happens normally? Questions are not asked, and you cannot expect a layman or a client to know all the answers for this. You have to ask them. So you have to ask them. Only then you will find out what is their requirement. And then you have, it's a problem. In the beginning, it's a need of everyone to do waterproofing. But once that's not done, it becomes a problem.
I agree. And the best
you
part
pay
is
more for the problems.
वही सस्ता रोए बार वाला फंड है. महंगा रोए एक बार, सस्ता रोए बार. But the best thing is hire the right professional for the right job.
And we have in our Waterproofers Association of India, we have Pan India. In fact, in Nepal also we have 2 members. We have members all over India who are trained by companies, by like Sika, SS, so many companies. They give us trainings regularly. Even people who are working there for the last 30 years, who are more senior than me in waterproofing, even they get trained every 3 to 4 months. We have various training sessions where we are updated, upgraded to new systems, and even old systems. वो कहते हैं ना दोबारा याद करना, तो वो हमें याद कराते हैं कि हम गलतियां जब हम कर रहे होते हैं, हमें तब ध्यान आता है ये गलती हम कर रहे थे, चलो अगली बार से नहीं होगी, and we learn. So that's the difference between waterproofing professional practitioners then rather than an ordinary waterproofer. That's the difference. We keep on upgrading ourselves very frequently.
Exactly. It's a everyday learning, I would say.
Yeah.
So I will take 2 more questions because there are a couple of other questions, and I'm very pleased to see that people have a lot of interest in this subject. Just last 2 questions. The next question is from Mr. Varun Bajaj. How to remedy old building brick wall with the constant seepage from the ground, which have failed DPC. Moisture seems to show up at different places and not sure how to fix it. बड़ा अच्छा क्वेश्चन है.
हाँ, बेसिकली डीपीसी फेलियर है
जी.
एंड राइजिंग डैम्पनेस के लिए है. सो राइजिंग डैम्पनेस के दे आर वेरी गुड सिस्टम्स नाउ and they are primarily coatings also, and siloxane based impregnators also can be used there. मैंने पीछे एक slide में भी था उसमें, they can also be used. Plaster has to be removed properly, and after that the brick wall has to be treated, and I won't say that it will be 100% treatment, because this is something, rising dampness is something which is the most challenging in waterproofing repairs, because पानी तो नीचे से आ ही रहा है. आप उसको रोकने के लिए बैरियर, आपके ब्रिक लाइन के बीच में बैरियर बनाना थोड़ा सा टफ होता है. Yes, there are products. That's why अगर समीर होते तो I would have asked him this question also. He is expert in this. So अगर वहां पे बैरियर लग सकता है तो भी चांसेस यही है कि पानी थोड़ा बहुत तो आएगा. No specialist can give 100% guarantee for it. But yes, 90 to 99% the treatments are there which can. And some people, which is very frequently seen, that people they fix tiles there कि छुपा दो, दिखेगा नहीं. That's the biggest problem. अगर आप वो छुपाने की कोशिश करेंगे तो वो अंदर से आस्ते 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 पानी अपनी ब्रिक्स को गला देगा over a period of time. और वहां देखा गया उन टाइल्स में भी क्रैक आ जाते हैं. It is further expensive to repair that.
जी. Thank you very much, Sandeep ji. The last question of the session: what do you recommend for swimming pool basement cracks, base cracks?
So is it a rooftop pool, or it's a pool which is in-ground pool? So question is it in-ground pool or over the ground pool?
Maybe we can take both the options.
So if it's an in-ground pool, so there could be, because of movement of ground movement, base movement. So base has not been done properly. Tiles have to be removed. So right now we are doing a project in Hibiscus, Gurgaon, in Sector 50, where there were cracks all over the pool. And in last 4 years, 2 applicators had already, I won't call them waterproofing professionals, otherwise it would not have leaked again and again. So twice these people, they have spent more than 10 lakhs, rather more than 15 lakhs, because each time they treated, the tiles itself had costed them 9 lakhs, fixing of tiles and buying of tiles. So tiles have to be removed, surface cleaned, surface properly prepared, and again waterproofing done. So if I have to do it, something like that, I would first clean, fill it with water, remove the water, check wherever seepage is there, then apply a good crystalline system, so that, because the substrata is all wet, it has moisture, so the crystalline system will go inside, repair it properly, and apply a 2-component system, replaster, and it's a complete system in that, and again retiling and epoxy grouting. So chances are the cracks won't appear again.
So you have to reach to the mother slab.
Yes, you have to, because on top of it, what you can do, आप कुछ भी तो नहीं कर सकते ना. कोटिंग्स आती हैं ऊपर से, आपने कोटिंग डाल दी, कर दी. बहुत लोग हैं जो कहते हैं ऊपर से कोटिंग कर दिया, बट आपको पता तो तब चलता है जब पानी दोबारा आता है. तो इसीलिए अगर ओवर द ग्राउंड है तो आपको पानी गिरता दिखाई देगा, टपकता हुआ. लेकिन इन ग्राउंड अगर है तो वो पानी तो जमीन में चला जाएगा, आपको पता कब चलेगा. As I don't know people know it or not, but we are also swimming pool builders. So as a swimming pool builder, as a waterproofing professional, I can understand this problem better than many waterproofers and many swimming pool builders. I know the pain, because if it leaks, swimming pool builder, if he has done the waterproofing himself and everything himself, he has to pay for everything. He has to pay for everything. So a clear system has to be designed at every stage and implemented and executed. Unless that you do, आप वो कभी कामयाब हो ही नहीं सकता वो system.
I agree. So that was the last question which we have taken. I would like to thank the audience for the patient hearing, and I would also like to thank Sandeep ji for this zeal and jo josh hai, and you know, the kind of technicalities he has discussed. I'm sure that everybody might have learned something, or maybe we could address a couple of inquiries, you know, or issues what they are facing in their you know, official, I would say, lives, or you know, professional scenarios. We will be back with the next seminar webinar on Tuesday 4 to 6 p.m. and this time we will send the invite a little early, and we will do it on a GoTo platform because then we can accommodate more people. And we are taking this initiative together. And the topic would be basically on waterproofing the bathrooms and kitchen. So the wet areas. So that will be very interesting topic. Till then, जैसा कि हमारे प्रधानमंत्री जी बोलते हैं, stay at home, स्वस्थ रहिए, सुरक्षित रहिए और खुश रहिए. अगर ये टाइम को आप यूज कर सकते हैं तो प्लीज यूज करिए. नई चीजें सीखने के लिए कोई इंक्वायरी है, प्लीज you can write it back to Sandeep ji, you can write it back to us. We are all you know, working as you know, support systems.
Nitin, and if we have 1 minute, and if someone from SS Buildcam, I don't know, Mr. Sulekar hai, kaun hai, if you can unmute him and unmute him, so I would like him to answer that question about ETP.
That is, I have Samir. I don't know whether
Samir, yeah, SS Buildcam. It's
no,
a
but
green
it is
color SS.
No, it is only Samir.
So I think Samir Sulekar, you can, yeah.
That is only on by the name Samir. Aarti, can you please unmute Mr. Samir? Aarti?
SS Buildcam is also there. SS Buildcam is also
yes,
there.
sir, doing that.
Okay. I can't see SS Buildcam, to be honest.
It's next to Mr. VK Jain.
So I've unmuted Samir.
Samir
Hello,
ji?
Samir ji? No, I think it's not Samir Sulekar.
No, Aarti, you can again mute, and there is one Mr. Sunny also.
Sunny, yeah, Sunny is good. Yeah, Sunny is there, so Sunny is the best. Like Sunny to.
Aarti, you can unmute
Done, sir.
Sunny also.
Done, sir.
Mr. Sunny.
Yeah, hi, good evening, everyone.
Hi, Sunny. How are you?
After a long time, I could see your face also.
Yep.
Sunny,
enjoying the webinar for the
Thank
day,
you.
for the evening.
And thank you, Sunny, for the input, because I don't have too much experience on ETPs. So one of the gentlemen here had asked that if there is seepage in ETP, will crystalline coating from negative side work? Will it react or won't it react with the seepage from inside? Because there'll be chemicals coming from inside.
No, see, ETP will have to just, I think my camera is this way, so I'll maybe put it this way so it looks a bit natural. Yeah. So ETP is, you can think of it in two ways. Like one is you're waterproofing it from the outside to the inside.
Yeah.
That means not allowing outside water to come in. So there, like you suggested, maybe a 2K cementitious system, or in case the need be a PU would be better. Now comes also the second part is not letting what is inside go outside. Because again, the ETP water or the treatment plant water, be it from sewage or be it from other chemical influences, and they are very chemically harsh.
Aggressive. Yeah.
So even letting them out into the if it crosses that barrier and gets to your ground and all, then that's a whole different problem to start off with. So normally for this, the system, you can use the crystalline. You can use the crystalline waterproofing as a as a base coat, and then you also have got there are other today's systems available which are kind of again based kind of cementitious or in a mineral base, but they are resistant to pH, because there you have to have materials that are resistant to very low pH. Can everybody see me? Because I can just see a big.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So you have to take care of. So there are these materials available which can resist those kind of pH, like pH up to 3, 4, something in that range. So those materials are also available. Like one of our associates, I mean, we give this product called Tri-Sew Coat, which can be easily done, for example.
Yeah.
So that is the option. Or then you need very I mean, there might be other materials also which are which you can use, like very, very high chemical resistance epoxies, but normally they're very difficult to get and use because those materials being that much more sophisticated. So anything, and normally with cement-based systems, as you said, with a cement substrate, cement-based or mineral-based systems always work much better.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Sunny.
Thank you, Sameer.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think this is time now to wind up the session. Thank you everyone for participating. And once again, Sandeepji, thank you very much. And,
Thank you.
and we will be back with the next seminar on Tuesday, same timing, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. And we will talk about the kitchens and bathrooms waterproofing. Thank you everyone. Stay safe.
Stay
Take care.
safe.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.